the viewers and welcome to V Concept College English. My name is Ernest. Today I want to start a new series on lessons and structure. And this series is entitled 200 Commonly Misused Expressions in Everyday English. 200 commonly misused expressions in everyday English. Therefore, in this series, we shall look at the reasons for misused expressions in English and offer tips for avoiding these mistakes in your speech and writings. Kindly follow up with all the videos that we shall be uploading in this series to catch a glimpse of the full gist. Have a happy viewing. Welcome to the 8th episode of our 21 in 1 video series entitled 200 Commonly Misused Expressions in Everyday English. We have been on this series for quite some time now, where we are trying to research into several expressions that are commonly conflicted in everyday usage. I am sure that if you are able to follow up with all the episodes that we shall be uploading on this series, you're going to find them somewhat helpful in everyday conversation. And if you're a student, you are also going to find them somewhat relevant to most English language examinations at various levels. Therefore, I encourage you to stay tuned and try to follow up with all the videos that we shall be uploading on this series. In today's episode, however, we shall be considering words set 61 to 70. And the expressions that we shall be discussing under this episode shall include as at when due, a meeting we hold, a meeting held, junior or senior, brother or sister, a colored pencil, a colored TV, he's not mature, who's with my book, I came with my car, I have no money on me. As usual, that is, as in our previous episodes, we shall pick an expression from here and then bring it down to our table of analysis. And in this table, we have 3 rows. The first one talks about non-standard, and then we have error type in blue, then standard, and finally we have grammar tips. Under the non-standard row, we shall try to use the expression that we are bringing from there to construct a kind of non-standard sentence so that we can use it to reveal most of the conflict that everyday people have with the expression in usage. Then after that, we shall try to classify the expression into the possible error types that it belongs. And then after that still, we shall move forward to this row in green, where we shall reconstruct the expression in standard usage. And then finally, under the grammar tips, we shall try to offer some tips that can help to avoid the errors that we must have spotted with the non-standard expression as constructed. So this is what we shall be doing in this video today. Right away, let's get started with our first expression, which is as at when due. Our first non-standard expression in this episode is I paid the money as at when due, with 2 words underlined in the expression indicating where the problem lies. Now, the problem with this expression can be categorized as egg-con. When do we say that an expression has an egg-con type of error? An expression has an egg-con type of error if it contains a word that is a mishearing of the actual words that is supposed to be used in that expression. Now, like we have under the grammar tip, number 1, we have that as at when due is a mishearing of as and when due. So the actual expression is as and when due, not as at when due. Now, under number 2, we have that the expression refers to having to pay an amount of money as due and when due. So, What then is the standard usage of this same expression? Under standard construction, we can have something like, I paid the money as and when due. So instead of saying I paid the money as at when due, you could say I paid the money as and when due. So this is how we can analyze this expression in everyday English. Our second non-standard expression from word set 62 is the meeting we hold today, with two words underlined in the expression, that is will and hold, indicating a lexical error as the error type to which the expression can be classified. Now, when do we say that an expression has a lexical error? Again, an expression has a lexical error if it contains a word that has been wrongly used in it. So the word that we're talking about here is hold, that is will hold. Now, what are the grammar tips? For the first one, we have that hold is used idiomatically to mean to take place. When you say that an event will hold, then you're automatically saying that that particular activity would take place. Now, for the second grammar tip, we have that whenever you use hold to refer to meetings, it is normally used as passive and not in active form. That is when you are using the word to refer to meetings. With that, we move over to our standard usage. For the first one, we have the meeting will be held today. So instead of saying the meeting we hold today, then you would say the meeting will be held today, from active to passive. And that is the form that the word hold normally takes whenever it is being used to refer to meetings. Alternatively, you could say we are holding the meeting today. So instead of saying the meeting we hold today, you could say things like, we are holding the meeting today. This is in continuous form or future continuous tense. So this is how we can analyze this expression as far as everyday English is concerned. With that, we can move forward to the next expression, which is a meeting held. Our third non-standard expression from word set 63 is yesterday a meeting held at the boardroom, with three words underlined in the expression indicating a lexical error as the error type to which the expression can be classified. Now, the words include a meeting held. Now, what are the grammar tips to explain that? Number one, will be held is the past passive that must be used to describe a meeting held in the past. Just like we explained under word set 62, that if a meeting is going to be held in the future, then you are going to use future passive for it. That is, instead of saying the meeting we hold, that is in the future, you put it in the passive form, that is future passive, by saying the meeting will be held. So, the same thing applies to if the meeting has already been held, that is, if it has happened in the past. So, if the meeting has already been held, that is in the past, then you would employ past passive. You are going to use past passive to describe the event. Therefore, instead of saying yesterday a meeting held at the boardroom, you could say yesterday a meeting was held at the boardroom. Yesterday a meeting was held at the boardroom. So this is how we can analyze this expression as used in everyday English. We now move forward to our next expression, which is my junior or senior, sister or brother. Our fourth non-standard expression from word set 64 is my junior or senior brother or sister has gone to school, with the words junior/senior underlined to indicate a lexical error with the expression. Now, We say that an expression has a lexical error if a word has been used in it or if a word has been misused in it. That is, if one word has been used instead of another in an expression, then we are going to say that the expression has a lexical error. Now, when we go over the grammar tip, we would have that junior or senior are words that are used with positions in official settings, while younger/elder are used for singlets. Both sets of words are used to describe a difference in age. But when you are talking about a difference in age in official settings, then you are going to use junior or senior. When you are talking about siblings, that is in family settings, then you would use younger/elders. Therefore, what is the standard usage? Instead of saying my junior or senior brother or sister has gone to school, you would say my younger or elder brother or sister has gone to school. That's my younger brother has gone to school or my elder brother has gone to school. So not my junior brother has gone to school or my senior brother has gone to school. Then we move over to our next set of expression, which is a color pencil. Our fifth non-standard expression from word set 65 is I want to buy a color pencil for fine art, with the words a color pencil underlined to indicate a lexical error as the error type to which this expression can be classified. Now, how do we explain that? Under the grammar tips, we have that the pencil has a lead that is colored inside. And number two, it is used for coloring. Therefore, under standard usage, you could say, I want to buy a colored pencil for coloring. Or you say, I want to buy a coloring pencil for fine art. Because the pencil is used for coloring, then you can call it a coloring pencil. Or you call it a colored pencil because it has a lead that is colored inside it. Therefore, instead of saying, I want to buy a color pencil, you would say, I want to buy a colored pencil or a coloring pencil. So this is how we can analyze these expressions in everyday English. With that, move over to our next set of expressions, which is a colored TV. Our next non-standard expression from word set 66 is my father bought a new colored television, with the words colored television underlined to indicate a lexical error as the error type to which this expression can be classified. Now, how do we explain this? Going over to the grammar tips, we have that a colored TV is one whose screen is tinted and painted red, blue, or green. And that's not what we have of a television that shows images in full color. So if a screen is pre-painted with a particular color or some sorts of colors, then we are going to say that the television is a colored television. But if it is one that shows images in full color, but the screen is not pre-painted, then we say that it is a color television and not colored television. So instead of saying my father bought a new colored television, you could say my father bought a new color television. My father bought a new color television. The screen is not pre-painted. That kind of television is described as a color television, not colored television. So that is how we can analyze these expressions in everyday English. So with that, we go over to our next set of expression, which is he is not matured. Our next non-standard expression from word set 67 is he is not matured enough to watch this movie, with three words underlined in the expression to indicate an egg con type of error. And that is the error type to which this expression can be classified. Now, how do we explain that? Under the grammar tips, we have that the word, which is the key words among the underlined set of words, we have that mature can be used as a verb and as an adjective. Right, now that is settled. For the second one, we have that our expression is just descriptive and not talking about the maturing process. Therefore, the word mature in our expression cannot take past tense form because it is an adjective in this expression. It is not used as a verb in this expression. If we were going to use it as a verb in this expression, then we would say have been matured. Okay, we can say something like he has not been matured. That is, he's not gone through the process of being mature or being made matured. Therefore, since this expression matured is not in the context of being used as a verb, but as an adjective, it cannot take ed past tense form. So what we would have is the ordinary form of the word, that is as an adjective, which does not have past tense form, so mature. Instead of saying he is not matured enough to watch this movie, you could say he is not mature enough to watch this movie. He is not mature enough without D attached to the spelling of the word mature. He is not mature enough to watch this movie. So this is how we can talk about this expression in everyday English. With that, we move over to the next expression, which is who's with my book. Our next non-standard expression from word set 68 is who is with my book, with the word with underlined in the expression to indicate a lexical error as the error type to which the expression can be classified. Now, how do we explain this? Going over to the grammar tips, we have that the preposition with indicates being accompanied by someone or by something. That is when you use the preposition with between two nouns, you are trying to say that one is accompanying the other. So for the second grammar tip, we have who is with my book would mean who has accompanied my book. Therefore, if we are going to take this expression for anything worthwhile, then it's going to be interpreted as who has accompanied my book or who has my book accompanied. Therefore, instead of saying things like who is with my book or who has accompanied my book, when you want to talk about who now has my book with him or her, then you are going to say things like who has my book or who is in the possession of my book. So instead of saying who is with my book, you could say who has my book or who is in the possession of my book. This is how we can talk about this expression in everyday English. With this, we move to our next word set, which is I came with my car. Our next non-standard expression from word set 69 is I came here with my car. I came here with my car, with the word with underlined in the expression to indicate a lexical error as the error type to which the expression can be classified. Now, how do we explain this? Under the grammar tips, we have that for the first one, with can be taken as explained under word set 68, where we said that with is a preposition and that when it is used to describe two nouns, that is to show the relationship between two nouns, then it is saying that one of the nouns has been accompanied by the other. That's number one. Then for the second one, we have here that as far as this non-standard expression is concerned, Car has been personified as saying you were accompanied by it. In other words, as you were coming, your car was coming. So you can see how bad that expression can be. Therefore, instead of saying, I came here with my car, you could say, I came here in my car. I came here in my car. So this is how we can talk about this expression in everyday English. With that, we move over to our final word set in this episode, which is I have no money on me. I have no money on me. I have no money on me. Now, this is a colloquial expression, and that indicates the error type to which it can be classified. Once again, what is a colloquial expression? A colloquial expression, simply put, is an informal expression that may only be used in an informal conversation with friends and or with people that are related to you. Now, when we come to the grammar tips, we have that. For the first one, it is a colloquial way of saying that you are not carrying cash. So when you say, I have no money on me, you're automatically saying that you are not carrying cash at that moment. This expression, I have no money on me, cannot be adopted in standard usage because there's no way you are going to have any money on top of you. Therefore, what is the standard way of using this expression in English? Instead of saying, I have no money on me, you could say, I have no money with me. I have no money with me. This is more formal and can be used in written form and or with people who are not close. In other words, in a formal conversation. With that, we'll come to the end of this 8th episode in our 21 in 1 video series. I do hope you had a great time with this episode today. Stay blessed till we meet again.